Hey guys, this is GamerCow. Welcome to, as the title of the level says, a social experiment. So, I have seen plenty of my stages which are actually really easy, get expert tier completion rates of sub 15%. In fact, I think every single one of my levels, with the possible exception of Lanky Time at the moment, has a less than 15% clear rate. I know Lanky Time had a 12% clear rate when I saw it at one point, but I don't know about now because it's constantly changing, of course. So, I decided to make a stage where the user would choose their own difficulty. So, the first part here is impossible to die on unless you time it out, and it's literally just a difficulty chooser. For those who don't speak English, there's they might actually be able to ascertain a rough sort of comparison with the enemy level and what difficulty stuff is. Easy is of course insulting, and that is the path I expect most people would take. Normal is not really too much harder, but is still a bit more difficult because there are more obstacles and whatnot, as you can see, but it just goes straight to the end anyway, so not too much more impressive, but it's still there anyway. And then hard mode is where it actually starts getting a bit challenging. I really didn't play the hard mode version very well when I did the recording stuff here. In case you can tell, this is post-recording because of the whole deaths and stuff to cut out. I figured this time I would actually just do an entire new thing that way. But yeah, you can just jump clean over that guy if you get a good start beforehand. Most of this you can still just run through, so it's really not that difficult, but there are some tricky sort of concepts here. And then I don't think you actually even need these, but just because of the way the ending is set up. But there's a couple of extra lives in the thing up here. You've got to be a bit careful about the giant spiny spikes when you come down from that, but that is fine. Hard mode actually has a little extra bit here, which if you rush it is really easy. If you don't, it can be pretty tricky because the Para Koopa and the Koopa down below can kind of get stuck with each other, and it gets a little bit irritating, but it's not too difficult, and really it's just there to finish the level properly. So there you go. So, I actually had a full separate clear of this before, and I thought I was recording it. I had, I think, about I want to say 15 deaths there to go through, and it wasn't recording. Like, XSplit decided, you know what, I am not gonna have the button press stuff here. So yeah, this is a retake. It's still not going to be deathless, however. That first bit is actually really annoying to do. Or not annoying, but no, I would say it's kind of annoying. It's a bit glitchy because of moving pillars and whatnot. Sideways, upwards moving objects, even with trying to wall jump over them, is really nasty. This bit took a little bit to design. I've always wanted to do one of these moving vine segments, and I wanted to have it where you couldn't just stay on the vine the entire time. And basically the design here was to, or the challenge in designing was to try and make sure that you had enough space to do a jump, and you need at least 2 spins normally to make sure that you don't get hit there. If you do end up making it this far, don't try wall jumping to get down between those. It doesn't work. It's kind of designed that way. And then here, originally I had like a dry bones that you would bounce off of, but there's the first step there. I actually decided to have a separate thing with, yeah, it's a winged boo cannon shooting boo rings, but it's kind of weird. You only get 1 boo ring out at a time, but if you just rush that section, then you're going to end up, yeah, I died a couple of times here. There's a couple of other people died there too though, so it's okay. This is what you're supposed to do here. Like, originally I had the dry bones that you would bounce off of, and you had to try and time it with the saw blade, but I found it's a lot more entertaining to use the cannon. And then you have this monstrosity, which is, apparently you can jump over that. I could swear blind I tested that, and it never worked when I tried to do it before. But apparently it's only solid blocks, not spike blocks, that you can make a ceiling out of. like that way that you could just jump over that spike block, which makes that last part a million times easier. I did not know that until recording. I actually thought that was a glitch because I was in invincible state at that time. Do not ask me why, but there have been some weird glitches with hit stun and what, no, not even hit stun, but invincibility frames and stuff in this game as it is. So, getting back to stuff, you really do need to do short jumps there in order to not get wrecked by it. There's a mushroom in a box at the top there, which I never show off because I never needed to this time, but if you do take a hit in that section, you can get a mushroom at the top there. Nothing too dangerous in that particular part. The winged block here, unfortunately, it doesn't keep its extra speed and whatnot, so you only have one speed that the fine block can be, but I figured it would be a little bit annoying for players to have to wait for the really slow block and stuff there because it's quite a long track. So I just decided that I would have a winged block there to speed things up a bit. It also kind of syncs the timing here fairly well, and yeah, I got clipped there as whatever. With the knowledge that I could jump over the top of spike stuff there, I could have had spikes instead of a muncher there, but oh well. Wasn't really to know that. I deliberately haven't marked the mushroom block at the end of this because this is, I guess, lunatic mode, if you will. So I didn't want to just hand the player a hit to tank the next part with, and so I have it there, but if you don't jump for it, you will never actually know that. And let's be honest, it's not a super intuitive thing to do. Some players will end up doing stuff like that because expert runs have conditioned them to do such a thing. But yeah, you can't immediately rush that section, by the way, because if you just run straight from the pipe to the right, then you'll get blasted by the second Podobo. So yeah, also the Lunatic's just gotta kind of go through that last bit there, just because of the way the stuff is laid out. And now, just to finish this off, I want to quickly show a couple of ways that you're supposed to do this section. So my original intention was for it to be done like that. Now, that there, where you just rush through it. But because you can jump over the block, it kind of doesn't work out that way. You can just do this instead. So, try the level for yourself, see what difficulty suits you, and I will talk to you guys next time.